everybody. Thank you for returning back to my channel. This is Bria Estelle, your marriage and family enrichment coach. And I'm coming to you today with a video about speaking life into your spouse. The words that we choose to use when we are communicating with our spouses. So before we go ahead and get into this video, don't forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe to my channel, Poised Inspirations. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification button so that you are notified first whenever we upload a video. A post and it simply says speak life. If you have not seen that post, go ahead and get onto your phone on Instagram and check me out. Follow me at Bria Estelle _ and check out that post. So the post was about speaking life into ourselves, into our spouse, into our loved ones. And so I wanted to do a video to elaborate a little bit more on what I meant when I posted that. About a week ago, James and our son J4 were outside playing football, and James was throwing the ball to him like an NFL player, and J4 just could not catch the ball. He could not run and catch the ball, and he was getting frustrated, flopping all over the ground. I hear James say to J4, "Man, you gotta get up, man. Stop acting like a baby, and so doesn't act like that." So immediately when he said that, I was like, no, we cannot talk to them like that. So that Speak Life post was inspired by that incident. And I'll tell you what happened in that moment. But I want to go ahead and get into this message. 3 scriptures that I really want to share with you guys. I think they have really helped me in my communication with James, and I definitely feel like they can also help you, and that you might be able to take something away from them. So I will go ahead and share those with you guys. The first scripture is Proverbs 12:18, and it says, "Thoughtless words can wound as deeply as any sword, but wisely spoken words can heal." So that's the first thing. And how do we speak life into our spouses? We have to speak with intention, and we have to speak with thoughtfulness, and make sure that we are careful in the words that we choose when we are speaking to our spouses, because that could be the difference between an argument and not having an argument. You know, when you are speaking to your spouse in a way that is condemning, critical, or condescending, then that can come off really bad. That can make your spouse defensive, and that can make him or her feel like you are attacking them versus just expressing yourself. So again, my first point in how do you speak life into someone is to be thoughtful and mindful and careful about the words that you speak. So the second scripture I want to share with you guys, and how do we speak life into our spouses, it comes from Proverbs 15:28. And it says, "Good people think before they answer. Evil people have a quick reply, but it causes trouble." So that's my second point. My second point is timing. Be intentional about the timing of the conversations that you have with your spouse or the things that you are speaking into your spouse. So when things happen, you know, things are going to happen. But when they do, excuse me, you can choose whether or not to address something, and you can choose the time to address it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the heat of the moment and your emotions are high, that might not be the best time to address a situation. Just because, of course, we all know that when you're in the heat of the moment, you can say anything, and those words can cut deeply. Make sure that you are poised in that moment, and you're not speaking from a place of high emotion. So my third point, and how do we speak life into our spouses, comes out of Proverbs 15:4. And that says, "Kind words bring life, but cruel words crush your spirit. That scripture to me says be gracious in the words that you choose. So yes, we're not always going to get it right. We're not always going to be right. And we're not always going to say things the right way. But does that mean we have to come off condescending? Does that mean that we have to criticize? And does that mean that we have to condemn? No, it just means that we need to take our time when we communicate or when we expressing ourselves to our spouse, and we need to choose wisely when we are doing that. So when we are spoken to in a way that is hurtful and it's unhealthy, it pierces us. Just like this tattoo, we wear our words. We may not be able to see them, but we wear our words and we carry those words with us. And that's why it's very important to choose what we say, because they are long lasting. Our words are long lasting, and they could be the difference between building our spouses up and tearing our spouses down. And we don't want to, of course we don't want to tear our spouse down, right? Now let's go ahead and get into why these things are important, and I have 3 points on that as well. So the first point is it's important to speak life into our spouse because it builds them up, right? It encourages them. It makes them feel good. It shows respect and it shows gratitude. So like with my husband, this was a barrier for us in the beginning of our marriage. And I would say it was more for me than it was for him, because I had a way of coming off condescending and condemning and criticizing, and I want to say aggressive in how I communicated, very assertive in how I communicated. And sometimes that's not always how we should communicate to each other. I just felt like at that time, you know, I had to express myself, and I didn't know how to do it in a healthy way. And of course, James was like, you think I'm gonna listen to that? Like, no, bro. Like, no, we're not communicating like that. That's not how I'm gonna listen to you. Like, in one ear, out the other. Like, no. So I had to learn how to communicate. I had to take my time. I had to take a breath. And I had to recognize, like, listen, this ain't the good time to address this. This is not, pause, okay? Pause on that. Or what you're saying, you're gonna be wasting your breath and you're not gonna get nowhere in the conversation. If we are smart, ladies, if we are smart, we could say anything we want to say, anything we need to say to our spouses. And if we say it right, child, please, it's over, okay? It is over. So that's what I had to learn. Like, there's power in your words, okay? For real, there's power in your words. And if you use them to build him up instead of tearing him down, you'll get way further. So that's my first point. It builds our spouses up and it makes them feel really, really good. My second point, and the reason why it's important to speak life into our spouses, is because it reinforces their own positive self-thinking. So if I go to James and I tell him how good of a job he did at work or with the kids or something like that, it makes him feel like he can do it, and in his own head, that's what he believes. He begins to believe that. So we want to continue to use our words when we're speaking to our spouse to build them up. And over time, as you're using your words, you'll notice that they'll begin to maximize their own potential. My third point, and the reason why it's important to speak life into your spouse, is because it builds self-worth. As you are feeding your spouse positive things and you are communicating to your spouse in a healthy way, it's building them up over time. And over time, they'll be able to create a filter and a sense of discernment and understanding their value and their worth and how they should be spoken to. It's the difference between life or death. When you're speaking to your spouse, are you being critical? Are you being condescending? Are you condemning them? Are you being judgmental? Making them feel small? Sometimes making them feel stupid? Or are you uplifting them? Are you encouraging them? Are you being supportive of them? Are you showing that you're grateful for them and that you appreciate them? It doesn't have to be hard. It does not have to be a task. It's just something that you develop over time. And as simple as 2 words. Good job, babe. That's 3 words. But it's simple. I mean, 2 or 3 is not a big difference, right? So good job, babe. A couple more examples are, I love you. I appreciate you. I have a couple more here, and these, they sound cheesy, but when you say them and put a little twist on them, they make a world of difference. So like for me, it'd be like, I feel you, babe. I feel you, but like, let's think about it this way. Or, I trust you, babe. I know you got it. Or, I've already said I appreciate you. I say that all the time. Like, if James is cleaning up, or if he does something that takes a load off of me, I just let him know, like, babe, I really appreciate you for doing that. Like, it really took a load off of me. I love you. I forgive you. It's possible. Good idea. I love how you said that. I love how you did that. Like, it does not have to be difficult. Allow yourself some grace, which is what I was saying before. Sometimes we have to relearn how to do things, and we don't get it right away. That is something that happens over time. So definitely don't make it too hard. Don't be too difficult on yourself if you find yourself being in a place where you're heated and you are condemning, or you're being critical, or you're condescending when you're speaking to your spouse. Apologize, let them know that you're human, and move forward. In the situation earlier, when I was talking about James playing football with J4, if I would have came to him and I would have been hostile and aggressive, like, I know you ain't talking to him, and doing the neck and the hands and the rolling and all of that, it would have been a completely different conversation. It would have been a completely different experience. It would have been bad timing. So, just let's try to cut that out of our conversations. Let's begin to speak life into each other, speak life into our spouses, be wise and intentional about the things that we say. Choose the time wisely, and most importantly, give yourself and your spouse some wiggle room. Okay? So thank you guys for tuning in. I definitely hope that my message and my experience was able to help you in your communication with your spouse. Take some of those examples that I gave you and use them, try them out, put a little twist on them, and build your spouse up. Build your spouse up and speak life into your spouse. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.